I'd just like to say a big thank you, Meryl, for joining us this afternoon for our little chat. So I'm going to ask Meryl a few questions, and this is going to be very informal. And so I'm just going to start off, Meryl, by asking you to tell us a little bit about your working life at the supermarket that you've worked for many, many years. I know that. And what did you like about working there?
It was a friendly store. It was convenient. I lived local. It was part-time, very flexible. It was just a nice store to work in.
And what I think you worked in the kiosk, didn't you, for quite some time? So that must have been quite a close relationship with customers and that kind of thing.
Customer service kiosk, we call it the front end.
All right.
Yes, and we get used to your customers. They like become friends, socialising with colleagues. They're friends for life.
Sure. So had you had any thoughts kind of fairly early on about retirement? Because I guess sort of some years ago, you were probably thinking of retiring around 60. And of course that all changed, didn't it? So did you have any plans about retiring at all?
Well, I just thought I'd retire at 60 and that would be it. I was devastated when I found out I'd have to work till I'm 66, because I've worked for 50 years. I started working when I was 15, so I've worked for 50 years. So I was quite devastated. So I supported the WASPy ladies, and I was quite shocked. So I had to work another 6 years longer.
Yeah, it's got a shock, isn't it, to have to kind of, you plan your life around 60 and suddenly it shoots up for another 6 years. It's quite difficult to take. Time. It is a long time indeed. But then things started to go a little bit wrong, didn't they, for you, in terms of the supermarket wanted to change your contract. Perhaps you could just tell us a little bit about, what happened. What did they say to you? How did that all work?
Well, they wanted to change our contract where we could work anywhere in the store, any times, weekends, which my old contract, I never worked weekends, only if I wanted to. And then if you work a weekend, you'd have double, those are the days when you have double time. Of course, that's all gone now. So yes, the new contract was work anywhere throughout the store. You'd have training, but the hours weren't good. I'd have to go back to evenings, weekends. We'd have to do 4 bank holidays a year, which I never did before. So it was getting quite impossible. And we had 3 lots of meetings, 1-to-1 with your line manager. And when it came to the 3rd meeting, I had to sign because they give me 12 weeks notice after all the years I've been there. So it wasn't very good.
So apart from having to kind of change hours and work weekends and evenings that you obviously weren't used to, and we plan our lives, don't we, around our working hours. So how did that affect your kind of personal life then?
Well, I worked 3 full days and I looked after my grandchildren 2 days, so it was a big impact on my life, really, because I was worried, how am I going to look after my grandchildren, because my daughter worked. So in the meantime, I changed departments after 35 years. So it was quite a big thing. I changed departments and I worked mornings, early mornings, which I wasn't used to, which affected my sleep. And it was very physical. And I was quite proud of myself that I could do it at my age. And I quite enjoyed the physical side of it. But when I come home from work, I was shattered. So it did have an impact on me, where usually I'm quite fit and I keep on going. But I found it was so physical. I was working with youngsters, 20-year-olds, a lot younger than me. But I did enjoy it, the physical side of it.
Yeah.
But, there you are.
But I guess you missed that sort of interaction with customers. I presume that, you know, you didn't have that contact with customers in the same way that you did before.
No, no. Because I've been there such a long time, your customers become like friends. So
Sure.
they used to come over to see me in other departments. But it was physically, very, very physical.
So all of that changed, your working life changed in the workplace, and then suddenly COVID comes along and
Yeah,
it knocks us all for six. So how did COVID impact on you once
right.
that came along?
Well, it was quite frightening because we had to help out on other departments. So I had to go on to home shopping, which we didn't have proper training. We just had to work on home shopping. It was very frightening. Do you remember that the shelves were empty in all supermarkets? The shelves were empty, and customers would come in and they would just grab anything and come so close to you. And I was very concerned because my husband's got CODP and I've got asthma. So I was quite frightened. So I was there for about 2 or 3 weeks into lockdown, and I thought it's not for me. In the meantime, a friend let me know, and she said, well, Asda will pay you to stay home if you've got certain ailments. I didn't know this because apparently it's online, and I'm the generation that don't go online that much. So only through a friend that I found out that I could stay home because I had asthma. So I contacted my manager, and then it was all set up for me. But the company didn't tell me. It was through a friend. So I was quite disappointed in that. But because I stayed home, I had 10 weeks and they paid me. And I had to take 3 weeks of my holidays, which was fine. And when I was home, I loved it. I loved being home. I did so much. It was lovely.
That's really bad though for your employer not to tell you that you could actually
Yeah.
be furloughed. That's just really bad, isn't it? And an example of, you know, bad practice, big time there. So now you're at home and you've adapted to being at home. Obviously, it
Yeah.
sounds like you're enjoying it. So,
Yes.
you know, your life has changed dramatically, I guess,
Yeah.
for the better. So how do you feel now looking back over your working life? And you know, you've obviously given 50 years of your life to working for somebody, and you know, that's a big chunk. That's to suddenly go from working after 50 years and then finding yourself in that situation. I'm glad that it's worked out for you. So looking back, how in reflection, how do you feel now?
Um, I feel a lot happier. I'm. It's been lovely being home. So that was my decision. Lovely to retire. But I kept busy. When the lockdown was on, I was home. I made bags for NHS and masks and laundry bags, and so that kept me going to start with. And then the sun was out, so I gardened. It was lovely. I'm still very busy. I'm quite active, and I'm enjoying it all.
That's amazing to hear. I
Mm.
think from all of us, from the staff here at the Wales TUC and everyone that's listening in here to this afternoon, some will be able to kind of relate to your life as well. And I
Yes.
think for those that haven't, it's been a really good insight into what
Yeah.
working life can be like, particularly towards the end of our careers, for
Yeah.
sure. So I think, you know, on behalf of all of us, Meryl, it's been a pleasure chatting to you this afternoon, and allowing everyone to share in your story. It was very important, and we wish you every happiness in your new life. So thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you.